We have Jackson Smith and Jigba news. We have Terry McLaurin news. And we also have a $500 fantasy football draft we are about to hop in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead. Let's get in the Bulldog 2 tournament on Underdog. This is a tournament that I won last year. Yes, I won the Bulldog 2 last year. It's a $500 buy-in. It is a $100,000 first place prize. $50,000 for second place. Now, when I won it last year, it was only $20,000 for first. I mean, hopefully we are able to run this back. Hopefully we are able to win it again. Let's go ahead. Let's get in here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there are going to be 9 spots open in this draft if anybody wants to go ahead and hop into this bad boy with us. But as we wait for that to hopefully fill up, we are going to kill some time, get in some practice by getting into the largest fantasy football tournament on the planet. Best Ball Mania, $25 buy-in, $15 million prize pool, $3 million for first place, $1 million for second, some crazy regular season prizes as well. Let's go ahead. Let's get in here, ladies and gentlemen, and let's get this rocket. Now, of course, I do want to put a disclaimer. If you are new to Underdog Fantasy, don't be hopping in a $500 draft. I probably wouldn't even recommend that you hop in a $25 draft right away. If you are new to Underdog Fantasy, please go to the $3 draft. All right, the $3 draft, that's going to be your speed. That's what you should be having some fun with and practicing not only for Underdog drafts, but also for your main fantasy football draft this year, ladies and gentlemen. But we are in here at pick 2. We are going to go Chase out the gate, and then we have a couple different options of what we can be looking at later on. I think I know where we're going to go, and we are going to really mix this bad boy up, and I'm interested to see what y'all's thoughts are on it. But thank you so much, everybody, for coming to hang out with us. We got Lee out here with us at Pick 10. Please let me know if you are in this chat with us. Now, we have a donation coming out from Mike. Says, how do we value Kelsey and running backs in a non-PPR 12-team league where we can only start 3 wide receivers? Who should I target first if Kelsey's gone? What position has more late round value? I mean, I actually talked about this in a video recently that in a standard non-PPR format, if you look at the elite level scores, as well as the guys that you're going to be wanting to put in your flex spot, it is going to transition over to being more of a running backs game rather than a wide receivers. So I definitely think you ought to be pushing running backs up both at the top end as well as in the later rounds. And then Kelsey won't be impacted too much one way or another, but definitely push up the elite level quarterbacks just because their scoring will not change while everybody else's will go down. But we got Chase out here, pick 11. We got Joshua in here at 5. We got Jimmy out here with us at 4. We got Sean in here at 8. Love to see y'all. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out and hanging out with us. Now, after we take Jamar Chase, Billy P, who's BP in the live chat, he's out here at 3, decides to go Christian McCaffrey. We have Cup immediately after to Jimmy's at 4, another member of the flock. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Let's get this going. And of course, real quick, just in case you don't know what we are doing, these are drafts on Underdog. This is where we draft every single freaking night on this live stream. They're best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during this season. So I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last year. And of course, if you want to join with us, you can find that link in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK's going to get you a 100% deposit match up to $100. Plus, you will get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. This is the same spot where you have the pick'ems that y'all see in the videos. My favorite pick'ems right now are going to be looking at the Chicago Bears week 1, Justin Fields, as well as DJ Moore. I mean, honestly, it seems like those projections are pretty low at 167 and 46. And then also, I'm actually not feeling Sutton. Sutton, they have almost at 60 receiving yards. I definitely prefer going with the more than 46 with DJ Moore at 46.5 and fewer than 60 with Cortland Sutton. But let's move this over. Ooh, apologize about that. And also, promo code FLOCK is going to get y'all week 1 an exclusive Josh Allen line more than less than half a passing yards, only with promo code FLOCK. And I got y'all hooked up with 3 of them this next year, ladies and gentlemen. But we got Benjo coming out, says, would you trade Ramondre and Devonta Smith for CMC? Hell yes, my man. Go make that deal. Please. Please go make that deal if you can. Okay, now CeeDee Lamb off the board, pick 12. Amon-Ra St. Brown goes 13. I have noticed Lamb just falling more and more. I mean, I'm going to continue to buy the dip. I really don't understand what's making CeeDee Lamb fall in these drafts. Like, I'd rather have CeeDee Lamb over A.J. Brown if I'm going to be honest with you. Okay. Smooth this down. Adams off the board at 15. Brody says, where do I purchase rankings? Big Flogger. No, thank you, my man. You can find all our stuff. If you can't sign up for Underdog with promo code FLOCK, if you go to flockfantasy.com, promo code FLOCK is going to get you 30% off any subscription. And also, Mother Flocker, promo code FLOCK. I'm going to make a podcast breaking down your fantasy football team when you join. But yeah, there you have all our rankings, all the rankings for your favorite content creators on YouTube. I've got a bunch of premium content as well. You can find a bunch over there. Lightning says, started Diggs, Lamb, and Bijan Chubb in 2 slow puppy drafts. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Frank says, 10 TPBR, double running back wide receiver, but only 1 flex. Second overall pick. Kelsey, CMC are my targets. What's the best route, and how should I follow up my next 2 picks after? If you wanted to go Kelsey in this format, not going to fault you at all. And I'm definitely going to go with an elite level quarterback as well. So if you want Kelsey there and then look for Mahomes in round 2, worst case scenario, if you don't get Mahomes, if you're instead going to get like Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, I think that's still fine. Sir says, can you explain why you take CD over A.J. Brown? Well, CD Lamb scored more fantasy points on a per-game basis than A.J. Brown last season in the first place, and CD Lamb's younger than Kenny Pickett. CD Lamb did that last year with an injured Dak Prescott through a stretch of games where Lamb's production actually dipped. So assuming that you have natural progression, assuming that Dak Prescott is healthy this next year, I think that CD Lamb will yet again outscore A.J. Brown. Rush Collusion says, Mason, have you actually played any sports? Yes. Growing up, I played baseball, basketball. Was not any good at basketball. I was very bad at basketball. I played tennis. Tennis was my main sport by the time I got older. And then whenever I was at the University of Texas, I was on the powerlifting team, my friend. And now I'm training for an Ironman. I don't know if you count that as a sport. Unsure. But now Aaron coming out with another donation. Thank you. Says, hey, Mason, I just realized the league I asked you about for a 12-team app PPR is actually a 10-team app PPR. I have the 5th pick where, okay, so if we're looking at that, if you can start up to 5 wide receivers, I still want to be in a position where we can decide to go through and slam wide receivers in the middle rounds. Like, I think that's almost plan A at this point. If you can start up to 5 wide receivers, if you go Bijan Robinson there, even if it's a 10-team league and not a 12-teamer, if you have to start 3 wide receivers and have 2 flex spots, I'm going to be slamming wide receiver. Now, our plan was to get a little unique and a little weird here by taking Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs at the turn. Clearly, that is not going to happen for us now. Kind of sucks to see it. We will go Devonta Smith. I mean, that team at 12 had our exact idea. I mean, we were going to go with either Jacobs or Josh Allen, whoever made it back around to us at pick 26. Kind of sucks that we don't get him, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Relevant Roach says, I'm a basketball guy myself. Everybody, spam the chat. What sport did you play when you were younger? What sport did you play? And also, just in case you're now coming in, ladies and gentlemen, we are right now only about 10 likes away from hitting 250 likes on this live stream. If you have not done so already, please go down there, drop a like. Okay. We got soccer, football, basketball, soccer, hockey, football, tennis, baseball, soccer, hockey, football, baseball, soccer, and baseball, hockey. Yeah, I know I've said this in a live stream before, and somebody thought I was joking. I don't know why I joke about this, but if y'all don't know, I actually had brain surgery when I was like a little kid / baby, and I was never able to play contact sports growing up. Like, I wasn't allowed to play contact sports. If my head gets hit in a certain way, so yeah, I couldn't play football. I couldn't play soccer even. And where I grew up, we didn't even have hockey. That wasn't even an option. But we have Frank coming out and says, just to follow up, do you prefer CMC over Kelsey? I mean, definitely depends on the format that you're playing in. I think it really is going to be up to you. I think both guys have an elite level ceiling, but red flags in their own right. So, I mean, if you looked at my rankings this morning, my friend, I did have JSN one spot, but they're in the same tier. Matt says, do I keep London with the 6th or Rashad White with a 9th? I would go London with the 6th. The only thing that would make me a little hesitant, if it's a 10-team league where you only start 2 wide receivers and 1 flex, then at that point, you're just going to be able to get such strong wide receiver values later on. You probably just want to go White. But Ramondre Stevenson off 32 to the team that went Kelsey Mahomes out the gate. Interesting to see that. Aaron says, would it be smart for me to get a quarterback like Hurts, Allen, or Lamar in the 3rd, 4th round in that draft, or slam wide receiver even if they are there? I mean, I would be a little less likely to grab the elite level quarterback in a league where you can start up to 5 wide receivers. I mean, definitely if you can only start up to 3 wide receivers, you have to get the elite level QB. Now, of course, if you find someone that you really like at a strong price point, still go ahead and grab him, right? It's not like you can't draft that guy. Trace Emil says, I looked so good the other day. Trade incoming up. Prayers up. Prayers up. C&D Brady says, JSN out for 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah, I mean, we talked about this in the live stream earlier today. The report earlier today when we went live to break the news regarding Jackson Smith-Njigba is that he was possibly going to be good to go for week 1. And in reality, of course, we knew that's not the case. Now, when he's out 3 to 4 weeks, that's from today. That's not saying that he's going to miss the first month of the season. But I still do think that you have at minimum 1 to 2 weeks missed from JSN, which is a bigger deal considering the fact that he's a rookie. And it may just make the process of him getting implemented into this offense a little slower. Now, that Vietnamese guy, a long time member of the flock, says, hey, Mason, I got the 4th overall pick in my 10-team league with 2 flex spots. How do you navigate through the first 3 picks in your opinion? 10-team league, I definitely think you can afford to push up the elite level tight end if you wanted to go ahead and take Travis Kelce there. Now, of course, I do want to say it's a little less advantageous with 2 flex spots in comparison to 1. But with that being said, Kelce at pick 4 is completely fine. And if we do decide to go down that road, probably want to be going Mahomes round 2 and then maintaining flexibility by taking a running back in the 3rd. But also you could just stay flexible at the gate anyway, go running back, wide receiver through the first 2 rounds, and then grab your elite level quarterback in round 3, my friend. Okay. Now, DJ Moore off the board, pick 40. Scorpion says, JSN being out 3 to 4 weeks is the most optimistic. He'll be out at least 6 weeks. JSN is a dead roster spot. Don't you do me dirty like that, my man. I have drafted the hell out of Jackson Smith-Njigba. He is someone that I am very much relying on this next year. Don't you do me like that, please. Now, Hotboy coming out says, 12-team PPR double flex. I have Allen Montgomery, who's offered Fields and ETN. Would you accept the trade? I went 0 RB, and my best RB is Dobbins. I would honestly keep Allen Montgomery. I mean, just with Josh Allen, he's had 3 straight seasons now of a top 3 quarterback finish overall. Like, it's hard to get away from that in my mind. Okay, so let's move this around. Drake Ludden off the board, 43. Professor X says, Best Ball Mania number 11, AJ Barkley, Lamar. Oh, there's nothing prettier than Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews at the 3-4 turn. There's nothing better than that. Okay, so Hopkins goes pick 44. I have a couple things in mind of what we're going to be looking at 47. Lorenzo coming out of the donation. Thank you. Says, what's the draft strategy in a 12-team non-PPR format with only 1 flex? Quarterback scoring 6 point per passing touchdown and point. Okay, you need an elite level quarterback. Literally in this format, if it's a non-PPR league where you only have 1 flex and you're getting 0.1 points per passing yard, Patrick Mahomes goes round 1. And honestly, I am not even going to be hesitant in saying that. You need to go through, you need to pull the trigger on Mahomes. Allen, Hurts out the gate. And honestly, I'd definitely be looking at those quarterbacks that have the passing volume. I think that honestly move Hurts and the rushing upside down just a bit. And you're really going Mahomes or Allen round 2. And then slamming running backs as well. Now, we're going to do something a little bit different here. This is something that I want to get unique with. And obviously, in your regular fantasy football format, that is not going to be best ball. You have no interest in going through and taking 2 elite level quarterbacks on the same team, especially at this price tag. But in best ball, I think we can possibly get away with this, especially if you're looking at the fact that we go with Hurts, Burrow at the 4-5 turn, rather than going with like Josh Allen there at pick 23. Now, I'm not going to be doing this super often. I will say this was an extremely profitable strategy for us last year. Last year, y'all know my most drafted quarterbacks were pretty much those round 5 guys. I had a lot of Mahomes. He was my most drafted quarterback. I had a lot of Hurts, and I had a lot of Kyler Murray. And I would, in a ton of drafts, pair up Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts at the 5-6 turn. We printed money. Of course, that was due to Jalen Hurts, not Kyler Murray. But, yeah, I'm going to be fine mixing it up, getting a little bit weird with it. And let's do it. Let's do it. Now, Sookprick coming out says, 10 TPBR double flex. We have Bijan, CMC, Hurts, Devonta Smith, Amari Cooper, Dallas. Really love the team. I will say if we have Jalen Hurts here, let's just make sure that we don't have the backup quarterback. We definitely slam wide receivers later on with this roster, considering you have 2 flex spots. CG says 12-team PBR, one flex. A first pick. Are we going to go Jefferson, Andrews, Lamar? I would love that, my man. If it's only a one flex league, grabbing the elite level tight end quarterback combo, that makes a lot of sense. Scary Emperor says 12-team PBR, one quarterback, two wide receiver, double running back, one flex. How do we operate the first 3 picks at 2? I definitely look to stay flexible. I'd probably go running back there if we can with Christian McCaffrey. If CMC's off the board, not going to mind if you want to pivot over to either Chase or Kelsey. And then there at the 2-3 turn, if it's a league with only one flex, I would really like grabbing an elite level quarterback with either Mahomes, Hurts, or Allen. Now, Justin Herbert off the board, pick 56. To the team that took Patrick Mahomes, they go with the Herbert-Allen stack. So what may be very interesting, and of course this is kind of what we're hoping for whenever we have Fields and Joe Burrow on the same roster, is we're hoping that teams are going to all of a sudden start pushing up quarterbacks, which may end up happening with that other team taking the combo of Mahomes and Herbert at the same time. The Herbie Derby says, Baker was named Bucks quarterback 1. How does the... I was drafting every single one of those guys under the assumption Baker Mayfield was their starting quarterback. Was there any doubt that that was not going to be the case? And I'm saying serious question here. Was I an idiot to just be assuming that Baker Mayfield was the starter over the past month and there was no possibility of anything else? I mean, Lawrence off the board 60 to pair up with Travis Etienne. Hollywood Brown goes 61. Now, we just are very flexible in the coming rounds, right? I mean, the one thing we can't do is we can't go with another quarterback. I mean, we can't take another quarterback through the rest of this entire draft. Aaron coming out says, sorry, Mason. Now the answer to my question, who would grab in the 5th spot if Tyreek, Kupp, Bijan are there? And who should we grab in this 2nd round? Okay, so I think this is going back to the 10-team happy BR format where you can start up to 5 wide receivers. And honestly, in that style of league, I probably want to be taking wide receivers out the gate, my man. So if you could say go like Tyreek Hill, pick 5, and then on the way back around, go like A.J. Brown, and then hell, if Jalen Hurts makes it to round 3 because it's only a 10-team format, I wouldn't mind that at all. I mean, that's one of the formats where you actually find going 0 RB, and it does make some sense. The Pound out here says, how many to fill the $500 draft? My man, I'd love for you to hop in with us. I should have DM'd you. I'm sorry about that. 3 spots open in the $500 Bulldog 2 draft if anybody's wanting to hop in. So Brett says, thanks, man. I've been watching a lot and have helped me with the format strategy videos. No, thank you so much for being a member of the flock, my man, and supporting everything. Now, Pickens off the board 66. It seems like every single draft that I'm in now, George Pickens goes significantly before his ADP. Like, I don't know if I've seen George Pickens go round 7 in quite some time. But Cam says, hey, Mason, 12-team PBR ESPN startup pick 8. Trade the 2nd and 3rd round picks for the 105 and a 4th. Hell yes. Go ahead and do it. 105 is that tier drop. You're going to get someone like Tyreek Hill with that pick if you want, or possibly a Kelsey, especially in the keeper format. I mean, if the keepers line up where you really want that first round pick, I think it does make a lot of sense. Okay. Now, Mike Evans off the board 68. Kittle goes 69. I mean, I would have done a backflip on the live stream if Kittle would have made it to us. Now, at this point, we will go Dobbins. I'm essentially going to make the same bet that we do with Jonathan Taylor here with J.K. Dobbins by just saying these running backs, similar to what we said with Jacobs, what we said with Barkley, they don't really have any leverage. They are most likely playing this next year. So I wasn't really drafting Dobbins round 5, but now if we're getting him at the 6-7 turn, which in my mind, I don't really have too many concerns about him playing or not, I will go ahead and pull the trigger here. Okay. Now, this team chaos, I was assuming they went Gabe Davis. They have Josh Allen. They're going to give us Gabe Davis round 7. I actually really I really like Gabe Davis in this format. Y'all know we went through and called him a must-draft wide receiver this year when he had that round 7 ADP. Just considering the fact, if you look at his natural progression last season, in my mind, last season should have been a success for Gabriel Davis. Now, the reason it wasn't seen as a success is people freaking lost their minds thinking that they needed to be drafting Gabriel Davis in round 3 of drafts last year. Like, this man's still only 24 years old. He had the natural progression, looked really good in an elite level offense, can give us some spike weeks. I actually really don't mind Gabe Davis at all at this price. Russian collusion coming out says, Mason, that's credit to you changing the draft strategy in basketball drafts that will win it. Love your change of pace. I always talk unique. Thank you so much, my man, for coming out and hanging out with us for years now. I mean, yeah, just generally, it is something that in these best ball tournaments, it's kind of funny because last year we were made fun of a ton for the roster constructions that we would take and the specific player prototypes we were taking as well. And it's like, if everybody thinks that one way to draft is the only way you can win and everybody does that, shouldn't you be the guy trying to find something else? If you're trying to win an overall tournament, like this is Best Ball Mania tournament, it's a $25 buy-in, $3 million price tag. We want to go through and we want to try to mix this up. We don't want to have the same cookie cutter team over and over again. Now we have one spot left in that $500 league, ladies and gentlemen. So it looks like we are going to be firing that up in a quick minute here. It's going to be quick for us to get this going. James Conner off the board at 80. We have Dalvin Cook going 81. Okay. Now at this point, I mean, we're super flexible. There's nothing that we really want falling to us. The only thing I'd say is the only thing I don't want falling to us is a quarterback, of course. Kyle Pitts off 83. Love the Pitts selection. Kyle Pitts continues to go at this price. He will turn into one of my most drafted tight ends. Now, Hank says 8-team ESPN redraft, full PBR, CMC, Kupp, Hurts, Jacobs, Devonta Smith, Ramondre, Jerry Jeudy, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Kenneth Walker. What are your thoughts? I really like the team. Now, of course, in an 8-team league, everybody's going to look phenomenal. And I do love Kyle Pitts at the price point that he currently goes in 12-team formats. But I will say in that 8-team league, kind of a cheat code is going after an elite level tight end if we can get them. Like if we could say trade Kyle Pitts and Devonta Smith and go get Mark Andrews in that 8-team format, I think that'd make a lot of sense. Or I mean, maybe if you wanted to shoot a little bit higher as well, go like Kyle Pitts, Ramondre Stevenson, and Jerry Jeudy and see if we can get Kelsey. I mean, it's a great team overall. We don't have to make anything. But if I were to make a trade, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, so Watson goes 86. Love to see that, so I don't have to worry about it. But Fitty Cal says 10-team PBR double flex, 104. Hill in the first round is guaranteed. A.J. Brown, round 2. Should I go with Olave or Gibbs, round 3, or stack wide receivers at the start? So, I mean, if it's going to be a 10-team format, I don't want to go 3 wide receivers out the gate. The reason being is if you look at the values that you're going to get later on, you're going to see like Drake London sometimes round 7. You're going to see like Jordan Addison sometimes round 9. And if you go 3 wide receivers out the gate, you may box yourself in a position to not be able to take advantage of those values. So personally, it's not something I'm doing. But we are 1 like away from hitting 400 likes on this live stream. So ladies and gentlemen, please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. Help us out, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Tua goes pick 91. Great. Love to see it. Love to see it. And it's going to be a team where we're drafting 3 tight ends almost regardless. Generally, if I'm only taking 2 quarterbacks this year, I will be looking for the 3 tight end build. So I don't feel like we have to take Evan Ingram here. Now, of course, if we don't like any of the other values, we can decide to go that way if we want. But Matt says redraft trade CMC and Hunt for Bijan, Gabe Davis. And I'd probably rather just have CMC. Like if it's just a shallow redraft format, it's not really going to make a difference adding Gabe Davis or not. Even if I love Davis for a format like this, right? Now, BP on the clock. What is he deciding to do here? Go Sky Moore. I was actually probably going to look at Sky Moore here if we could. I'm going to make that consolidated bet on the Baltimore Ravens offense by taking Bateman. I am underweight Bateman overall. Now that he's back with this team, I think that we can take him. But ladies and gentlemen, the $500 draft has filled. Let's go ahead. Let's get this bad boy pulled up. And hopefully, let's win the Bulldog 2 back-to-back seasons. All right. Where are we at? We're pick 9. All right. We've had a couple drafts where I'm fine at 9. We've had a couple drafts that have been beautiful starts. It really does depend on, I want to say, the 3-4 turn and what players you are looking at there. So we'll see what happens. But if y'all are excited about a $500 draft, make sure you're going down there, dropping a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And of course, if you want to get one of these drafts with us, which we're doing every single night on this live stream, We're usually doing the $3, $5, $25 drafts, not the $500 ones. You can find the link to Underdog in the live chat description comment section. Promo code FLOCK. They're going to match first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And on top of this, ladies and gentlemen, they just dropped their pick'ems. They have some very exciting lines out there right now. Some of my favorites are going to be Justin Fields for more than 167 passing yards, DJ Moore for more than 46, and Cortland Sutton for fewer than 59. But on top of it, promo code FLOCK and only promo code FLOCK are you going to be getting these special pick'ems throughout the course of the season. We have Josh Allen for more than less than half a passing yard week 1 against the Jets as well. But that is a promo code FLOCK exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get this going. Jefferson Chase out the gates. What is this team doing? Sometimes in these $500 drafts, this is where you see people mix things up. This is where you see people go a little bit nuts. But let's move this over. And we have Weston says, hey, Mason, I'm in a 12-team app PBR double flex league at the 6th spot. If I go Hill Cup round 1, assuming that the next tier of running back wide receivers are gone, who should I take between Waddle, Jacobs, Taylor? I mean, if it's a half PBR format, you're going to be a little less excited about going wide receivers in the flex. Not going to be the end of the world one way or another. I would definitely look to go Bijan Robinson if we can round 1, if that's going to mean that we get a wide receiver that we like better in round 2. I definitely want to stay flexible at the gate. I mean, I really hope that we have some time before we have to make this decision. That way we have a little bit more clarity on the Taylor situation, right? If you wanted to go, say, Tyreek Hill, Jonathan Taylor, I'm not going to fault you at all for it. You are inherently just taking a little bit of risk. But Bijan Robinson off the board at 6. That sucks, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know Bijan Robinson is who we were looking at here. Bijan is who we wanted. Kelsey goes off at 7. Don't make us do it. Don't make us. The fantasy guru, please take Eckler. Please take him. Sir Bob says, got a Kelsey, Adams, Higgins. That's an absurd draft. How the hell do you get Kelsey, Adams, Higgins on the same team? I haven't been able to do that once, and I've drafted like 400 teams on Underdog this year. Monjay says, how much Kelsey are you drafting when Bijan's still on the board? In Underdog drafts, none really. In your regular redraft leagues where you can find wide receiver values later on, I'm all about Kelsey, even over Bijan Robinson. The reason I'm not taking Kelsey in a ton of these Underdog drafts this year is just because it's going to be significantly harder to stack him with Patrick Mahomes and significantly harder to find wide receivers later on. But Deshaun says, what's up, Mason? Been watching you for 2 years now. Keep up the grind. Thank you so much, my man. 12-team at BBR where we're starting 1 flex. Who should we target with the 3rd pick? Have BBR here. I'm not going to mind it at all if you wanted to go CMC or Kelsey. I think both guys are going to be in play considering the fact that it's only a 1 flex format. But in this kind of league where it's only a 1 flex format, I'm definitely going to look to go quarterback round 2 as well if we can. So if you go Kelsey and like Mahomes out the gate, I think that would be a strong start, my friend. Okay. Jordan says, in best ball, we got Bijan, Saquon, Lamar. I passed on JT and the guy after got him, and he has Lamb, Chubb, JT. Did I F up? I also have DJ Moore, Deontay. Whatever, either Bijan, Saquon, Lamar, or Lamb, Chubb, JT. I don't think you effed up. I really like your team. Now, maybe it would have been a little bit of a different situation if you weren't in a spot where you started Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley. Because if you start Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, you really don't have to take the risk on Jonathan Taylor there, right? You can't just grab that elite level quarterback because you already have the running back production. But we have all the wide receivers going after we take Austin Eckler here, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see what's going to make its way back around to us. And this team here took A.J. Brown round 1. What are they doing round 2? God, I would have felt so much better if we had Diggs round 1. Diggs is who we wanted, and of course we got sniped and stuck with Eckler. They go Chubb. Okay, Barkley is definitely in his own tier here in my mind. I'm not going to put Barkley in the same range as Pollard. I can't move up Waddle. I can't move up Olave here. I kind of have to go Saquon Barkley. This is why I wanted to go Stephon Diggs round 1. This is why I wanted Diggs falling to us. I would have felt much better about the combo of Stephon Diggs, Saquon Barkley, giving us flexibility later on in this draft than Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley. But what's funny is this is the combo that won Best Ball Mania last year. Somebody won $2 million in Underdog's Best Ball Mania tournament last year by starting Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley through the first 2 rounds. Okay. So hopefully we can go back-to-back and win the $100,000 in the Big Dog 2 this year. Now, we have a donation coming out. Thank you so much, my friend. I do not see a question with this. Anthony says, trade offer Cup and Eckler for Taylor, Evans, Pittman in a future first in a dynasty format. Rather have Taylor over Eckler in dynasty. I'd rather have Evans, Pittman in a future first over Cup. Yeah, so I'm going to keep the package, my friend. And Big Omi says, Hurts, Chase, Olave, or Pollard, Chase, Herbert. Give me Hurts over Herbert. Give me Chase. Chase is both. Olave versus Pollard. I'm going to go with the Hurts side. I'm going to go Hurts, Chase, Olave there. Aaron coming out again says, in the 10-team Happy BR 5th pick, say go Tyreek, AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, then Jalen Hurts. What to do rounds 4 and 5 with the 0 running back strategy? Do I attack the running back position? This is why in that league where you can start up to 5 wide receivers, a 0 running back is significantly more viable, because say you go Tyreek, AJ Brown, then Jalen Hurts, you are still in a position where you can continue to take wide receivers if they are the value and fill out the rest of your starting lineup. You could go 3 more wide receivers out the gate before you draft a single player that's going to be on your bench. So this is the beauty if you're in a league where you can start up to 5 wide receivers. In that format in particular, going with the 0 RB approach. You don't want to be going with the 0 RB approach if you can only start 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. But if you have to start 3 wide receivers and you have 2 flex spots, you want to go ahead, you want to stay flexible, and you want to continue to take the best value there in the middle rounds, my friend. Now, Matt says, 10-team Matt PBR with 2 flex spots, 4-point passing touchdown, and half a point per completion. What quarterback's going to be the best target? Are top quarterbacks more a priority? Is it better to wait later? Thanks. So thank you, my friend. I mean, definitely if you're getting a half point per completion, I mean, there's just going to be a disparity between the quarterbacks with passing volume versus the ones without it. So yeah, I would still be looking to push up the elite level quarterbacks there, my friend. Joel says, do you still get the $10 credit when you enter your Underdog username on flockfantasy.com? Yes. If you are a paid member to flockfantasy.com, please go to your account page, put in your Underdog username. It'll just say Underdog username. You'll see the spot right there. Hit enter, and it will immediately add $10 to your Underdog account, my friend. So yeah, please make sure you're taking advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen. I worked my butt off to get it for y'all, and it's a free $10 for you. LJ says, 18 casual redraft, full PBR. What's the best strategy? 18 format, my man, you got to be taking Kelsey round 1. I mean, you have to go after that elite level quarterback if you can. And honestly, you're going to highly devalue wide receiver in that style contest just because, I mean, it's half PBR, 18 league. I mean, sorry, full PBR, regardless of the case, you're most likely going to be looking to start a 3-down bell cow in your flex spot almost regardless. Mike says, drafted Bergs, pick 150. What do you think? I mean, I think it's a pick with all upside, no downside, really. Nick coming out with the donation. Thank you, my friend. And Noisy Boy says 10-team PBR, 3 wide receiver to flex and pick 4. Any advice through the first 3 rounds? If it's a league where you have to start 3 wide receivers and you have a flex, I definitely think that you want to have some flexibility there with your start, my man. Pick 4. You can feel free to go Kelsey or CMC, but I do want to be going with at least 1 wide receiver there at the 2-3 turn. Now, Allen off the board 28. So, I mean, there's no shot of us getting Josh Allen anyway in this draft, right? I mean, you had Stephon Diggs going off the board before us at 8. Generally, what we are looking for here is we are looking for wide receivers. Would have been really nice to have DK Metcalf make it to us considering the news that we have with Jackson Smith and Jigba. But at the end of the day, we're not going to be sitting here and crying about DK Metcalf going pick 27, right? I mean, it would have been a stretch to have Metcalf making it to us in the first place. So in my mind, I have a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D right now. So we 100% have a pick at 33. Now, the more so question is going to be, what the hell am I supposed to do in round 4? Now, DJ Moore was not in our plans. I think we can assume that team's going to go Justin Fields on the way back around there in round 4. Okay. So what is this team doing? They go Jacobs. Thank God they go Jacobs. Oh, if they did not go Jacobs, I mean, we would have been in the spot. It would have been a little tough. It would have been tough. Now, that team goes Andrews. Generally, y'all know I'm drafting the hell out of Lamar Jackson here. But specifically with builds where we go running back out the gate with Austin Eckler as well as Saquon Barkley, we do need to go ahead. We need to maintain some flexibility in what we can be doing with this draft later on. So let's go ahead. Let's take Amari Cooper. Before the injury to Jackson Smith and Jigba, I actually had Amari Cooper ranked ahead of DK Metcalf. I actually have him ranked ahead of Calvin Ridley, but now obviously that will change a bit. But still, long story short, I really like Amari Cooper at this price point. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Teresa, long time member of the Flux, says, hey, buddy, just wanted to send some support. Can't wait for our moderator league draft. Keep killing it, my man. Proud to be on Mother Flogger. No, thank you so much, Teresa, for being with us for so damn long now. And I am very excited to see that league that y'all have. And I haven't heard when the date of that draft's going to be, so please let me know. Okay. Keenan Allen off the board, pick 35. Now, Austin says 12-team league with 1 flex. Kelsey, Lamb, Smith, Amari, Sanders, Swift, Mike Williams, JSN, Tony, Mostert, Singletary, Hyatt, Spiller. Quarterback, we have Wilson and Cousins. Any moves we should look to make? Is this a good draft? I like it. The only thing I'd be looking at is down there at the bottom end of that roster. Does Isaiah Spiller ever do anything? I mean, it's definitely an interesting call with Isaiah Spiller. I'm going to give you that. And if you knew for a damn fact Isaiah Spiller was the running back 2 right now in Los Angeles, you would be straight up printing, and I repeat, printing money by going forward and taking Isaiah Spiller in the 18th round of every single underdog draft. I mean, I don't necessarily know if he is, but I think that's a great example of a player that is a perfect guy to roster at the very end of your regular redraft league, right? You go ahead and you roster guys like Isaiah Spiller, Jalen Hyatt, Raheem Mostert. If something changes, if it looks like they're not going to have a role this next year, no harm, no foul, cut them. Move on. Who the hell cares? However, on the other end of the spectrum, if we get confirmation that Isaiah Spiller is the number 2 running back in Los Angeles, then hell, you're pretty much the first guy to just claim him off the waiver wire, right? So that's what I want to illustrate with a lot of teams. Those are the kind of players, even if I like him versus not, we want to be rostering at the end. But Jeep Guy says the moderator draft is the 27th. Hell yes, hell yes. But ladies and gentlemen, this may be an all-time live stream for us. We are closing in on 2,000 live viewers right now. And we are 2 likes away from hitting 600 likes in the live stream as well. So please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the stream, be our 600 like at the stream, help us get to 2,000 live viewers. $500 fantasy football draft, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a lot on the line right here. A lot on the line. And yeah, Jerry Jeudy is an easy pick for me considering the injury that you had to Tim Patrick, plus the fact that we go Eckler, Barkley out the gate here. So we really do need to be in a spot where we just give ourselves some flexibility with these wide receivers like we were discussing. I mean, I think we kind of get lucky for this to happen. I would have been in a tough spot if Ramondre Stevenson would have fallen and if Jerry Jeudy would have gone at pick 39. I probably would have taken Stevenson, but I don't know if I would have felt good about it. Now, let me crack open the sparkling water, ladies and gentlemen. We got that poured in our Flock water bottle. You know, sparkling water is equivalent to PEDs for yours truly. Now, let's come out. Richie says, 12-team full PBR redraft, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a flex. Pick 6, do I have to go Kelsey? If it's a 1 flex league, you're going Kelsey or a running back. If he goes, should I take Bijan? Also, is it wise to get an elite level quarterback in round 3? Yes, yes, and yes. If it's a league with only 1 flex spot, the onesie positions are going to make up such a high percentage of your starting lineup output on a week-to-week basis. I think it does make a lot of sense to go Kelsey and then an elite level quarterback round 3 as well. Daniel says, how much do you pay attention to potential weather issues for drafting players in playoff weeks? Something that I don't pay attention to literally at all. And I'll be the first person to admit, maybe it's a blind spot for me. Maybe it's something that I should talk about more, look at more. But I mean, I really just haven't seen any provable results from someone projecting out weather in weeks 15, 16, 17 in August and making fantasy football decisions based off that. At least I haven't. Now, King David, a longtime member of the flock, says, once again, I'm back. Been busy with the Navy, but always rock out with the flock. Can't wait to win another trophy thanks to your channel. Though, thank you so much, my man, for serving our country. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with us again this year. Now, we have a couple wide receivers here going at the 4-5 turn. Interesting to see Terry McLaurin not having any dip based off the turf toe. There was a live stream I did earlier this morning where we ended up getting Terry McLaurin at pick 59 based off it. And yeah, Lockett going 52. Lockett definitely would have been a play for me at 57 given the JSN injury. I don't want to say for sure if I would have taken him, but I would have strongly considered it. Okay, so let's move this back around. And because we go Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy there, rounds 3 and 4, we give ourselves the flexibility to now, with this pick, if we believe the best value is not at wide receiver, we don't have to take wide receiver. That's really why we wanted to make sure that we got our wide receivers in rounds 3 and 4 when passing on them through the first 2. But Aaron, in a 2-quarterback tight end premium format, we have a bunch of middle round picks with the 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th, 7th. I'm thinking Lamb, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Andrews, Najee, Etienne, Geno, Rodgers. Should I take Amon-Ra St. Brown instead of Andrews? You can start up to 4 wide receivers, 10-team league, tight end premium. If it's going to be a tight end premium format where you're at minimum getting an additional half a point per reception, I'm fine. If you wanted to go Andrews, I'm also fine. If you want to go Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, it's just more so, right? If you start off Lamb, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, does Amon-Ra St. Brown really move the needle for you? I mean, yeah, he's going to be elite, but at the same time, it's going to cap the flexibility we have later on. And I would be okay with that start in a 10-team Superflex league because those quarterbacks should fall. Obviously, in a 12-team Superflex league, it would be a little bit harder. Now, this team only with 1 wide receiver now. That wide receiver is Stephon Diggs. What are they doing here? They go Dobbins out of left field. Now, y'all know I have not drafted a lot of Aaron Jones this season, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't taken a lot of Aaron Jones. I think when he goes to the 4-5 turn, honestly, it's a little bit too rich for me. But I'm an idiot. I get things wrong all the time. 100%. I'm willing to admit that. And I don't want to be the guy that just fades Aaron Jones in every single fantasy football draft ever, and then have 0 Aaron Jones going into this next season, because I could very easily be wrong with that call. So we'll go ahead. We will take him at pick 57. We can get a pretty strong discount. There'll be very few teams in this overall tournament that have Aaron Jones here this year, and it fits our roster construction as well because we did go wide receiver 33, 40. Now, we are 1 like away from hitting 800 likes in this live stream. If you want to be our 800 like, go down there, hit that button. We're closing in on 1,000. But let's see our next question. I believe coming out from Ray says, deep bench league, play up to 4 wide receivers. I keep Jameson or drop for a waiver wire running back. Wide receivers are Hill, Lamb, Amari, Moore, Sutton, Josh. Obviously, it comes down to how deep is your bench exactly. I don't love drafting Jameson Williams, just considering the fact that you are at minimum wasting a roster spot for 6 weeks. Minimum. And it's not even a guarantee that Jameson Williams is playable when he gets back. I think he's going to be a better real-life wide receiver than he will be from a fantasy perspective. Now, JSN falling a considerable amount. Now, the reports with Jackson Smith saying he's going to miss 3 to 4 weeks from this point. He goes 63. I was not taking him regardless. I was almost penciling in a George Kittle selection here, regardless of what would happen. When we're taking Kittle at 64, we are putting ourselves in a position where we possibly can take another tight end on the way back around and only have to draft a total of 2 of these guys. And once we pass on quarterback up until this point, more times than not, I'm going to be taking 3 QBs. And you know I don't want to be taking 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends on the same team. So taking Kittle here gives us a little bit more flexibility on what we can do in the coming rounds. Now, Chuck coming out says 12-team keeper league, start Tua, Hill, Amon-Ra, Higgins, Brees, Etienne, Kittle, Swift, Moody. On the bench, we have Tony, Lazard, McKinnon, Goff, Chase Brown, Bryce Young, Michael Mayer. This is a league where you need to go ahead. You need to cut one of these quarterbacks, my friend. You don't want to be rostering 3 quarterbacks. We have someone like Darnell Mooney in our starting lineup, right? Go ahead, drop Bryce Young. Understand maybe he's an intriguing keeper in the long. Just drop him, assuming it's a 1 quarterback format. There, go ahead, try to pick up another high upside running back or wide receiver off the waiver wire, just because ultimately at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, we don't want to be in a position where we are having to start Darnell Mooney this next year, right? That's not a spot where you are too excited. Now, Nick coming out says, thoughts on this Best Ball Mania entry. We have Watson, Love, Stafford, Henry, JT Stevenson, Edwards, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Wide receiver, we have Chase, Kirk, Godwin, Dotson, Dobbs, and then tight end, we have Ingram, Higbee, Knox. Generally, I don't love taking 3 tight ends and 3 quarterbacks. Say when you wait this long on both positions, I'm somewhat okay with it. I would have just probably preferred opting in for, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I feel like we're a little bit weak at running back as well. if you're looking at our running back 4 and 5 being Gus Edwards, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So honestly, I don't love the team, my man. At least that's not how I'm personally looking to build. But also personally, I'm an idiot, my friend. Now, Miles Sanders off the board at 71. Now, we still only have 2 wide receivers in this draft. I mean, make no mistake about it. We are wanting wide receivers on the way back around if we can get them. Now, the question is, do we get them? That's the main question. Sam says, 3 wide receivers, 2 quarterbacks, happy BR format. I'm keeping Watson. Would you draft Mixon or Amari if both were on the board around pick 50? 3 wide receiver, happy PR. Happy BR. I'm honestly going to go ahead and take Joe Mixon. Unless this was a league where we also have 2 or more flex spots. If it's a league where we have 2 or more flex spots and we can start 5 wide receivers, then I will pivot over to Amari, my friend. But Alan says 12-team Superflex start 11. Would he trade Watson, a future first for Breece, and a future second? Running backs for Walker Madison. We have A.J. Brown, Devon Smith, Ayuk, and Deontay Johnson. Probably not, but I am one to hold on to my 2024 first unless I'm being overpaid for it. I think most people would say yes, but I do not want to be trading away 2024 first in Dynasty if we can go against it. Unknown G says 10-team Happy BR can start up to 5 wide receivers. Slam wide receivers, my friend. Also in this format, tight ends are going to be pushed down just a bit. Teague says, out of 20 leagues, how often / how many do you win? So generally what I look for to track overall success from a year-to-year perspective is looking at the amount of teams that we're able to advance to the fantasy football playoffs. If we can advance 75+% of our teams to the playoffs in a standard league where 6 teams out of the 12 advance, I consider that a successful season, given the fact that there's so much variance by the time you get to the fantasy football playoffs. Now, with that being said, the reason I started this channel is just because the fact that we have been profitable playing fantasy football every single season since 2014 with a portfolio of 20 or more teams. Obviously, last year was our most profitable season, winning $150,000 on Underdog, but nonetheless, we've been profitable every year regardless. Now, I'm Melvin says 12-team Superflex draft coming up with no flex spot, just a Superflex. Which positions would you say are most important going after? Okay, this league, wide receivers not going to matter much, especially with only 3 bench spots. Grab 2 elite level quarterbacks. They're going to make up an incredibly high percentage of your starting lineup. And thank God he saves us. We are saved here by getting Michael Pittman pick 81. Michael Pittman, someone we drafted not at all last year. Michael Pittman, round 3, horrible decision. No idea why the hell people were taking him, just because you had freaking Matt Ryan going over to Indianapolis. Getting Michael Pittman here at the end of the 7th round is a completely different price point. It's a completely different proposition, and I am very excited about this, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, but I'm Melvin. You need to be slamming quarterback. I mean, in that league more than any. Now, Keith says, any strategies or tips for large leagues, 14-team standard PPR? Thanks for all you do, sir. No, thank you. Obviously, you just have to take into account the supply and demand of individual positions. And that 14-team format's going to be much harder to find that that running back depth after those top guys go. So generally what I'm going to be looking to do is more times than not kind of punt tight end actually, and then pivot over towards a more balanced approach, trying to grab some running backs early on. That way we don't find ourselves on the wrong side of a run and just completely get boxed out of the position. Okay. Now, Elijah Moore off 84. Khalil Herbert goes 85. Super interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the team. We just won this draft. We just won this draft by getting Dallas Goedert here. Dallas Goedert, Michael Pittman at the 7-8 turn with exactly how we have set up this team. It could not be better. Let's freaking go. Yeah, this team can't take tight end. If they do, it's just a massive punt. They already have Hawkinson and Pitts. We're going to get Dallas Goedert pick 88. Oh my gosh, look at this team.
I'm not sure I understand.
Look at this team, ladies and gentlemen. Running back, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, Aaron Jones. Wide receiver, Amari, Judy, Pittman. We have I don't want to say bully tight end stretch. We have some super strong tight ends, though, with George Kittle and Dallas Goedert. Can everybody please spam the chat? I was here. Because y'all know next year, similar to what we did with those other tournaments we won on Underdog last year for 20,000, 100,000, we reacted to them. We went through and showed exactly the success that we had and reacted to the live streams. Spam the chat. Say I was here. I was here. Hey, get this out. Get this out. Oh my gosh. I am just so freaking pumped about this. This is one of my favorite teams I've drafted in weeks. And it's in a $500 tournament, the same tournament we won last year, destined to freaking repeat. Oh. Now, of course, we still need quarterbacks, but given the fact we go Kittle, Dallas, Goddard, we put ourselves in a position to take 3 quarterbacks in this draft. This was the reason why we went George Kittle, pick 64, so we could find ourselves in a spot where we only had to take 2 tight ends. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Now, Austin's saying in a happy BR format with only 1 flex, are we going to go Jefferson or CMC? I'm still going to go Jefferson. And would Gibbs be too much of a reach at the 2-3 turn? Obviously, it depends on who you're taking him ahead of. I wouldn't take Gibbs ahead of Jacobs or Taylor. I'm confident enough in them playing this next year that I'm still going to go in that direction. Now, my name's Blue coming out. It says 12-team keeper league. I have Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 5th. If I get a first-round pick, do I go running back or wide receiver with CMC or Hill? I think you probably go CMC if you have Amon-Ra St. Brown already. I think that'd be great, my man. And Professor X says 11, Lamar Mack, Barkley, Kamara, Brian Robinson, Bigsby, Deonta Foreman, wide receiver, A.J. Brown, Godwin, Hollywood, Pickens, Boyd, Myers, Osborne, Pierce, tight end, Andrews, Musgrave, Henry. I love the team, my man. I love that freaking team. And I think it's interesting that you go 3 tight ends there as well. I know most people would take Andrews, would only go 2 tight ends, but I think given the fact that you waited so long to take your 2nd and 3rd, I think it's going to be, I think honestly, it's kind of what I would do. Okay. But ladies and gentlemen, of course, if you want to get into one of these drafts with us, even if it's not a $500 draft, even if it's just a $5 tournament, $3 tournament that we're doing on Underdog, these are best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during the season. So I drafted 700 teams, won $150,000 last year, and we are doing this every single freaking night on this live stream. This is the same place that also has all those pick'ems that we show in the videos. My favorite pick'ems right now being the more than with DJ Moore, Justin Fields with their week 1 lines, and the fewer than 59.5 receiving yards for Cortland Sutton. But if you want to get in one of these drafts with us, promo code FLOCK, Underdog is going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And plus, only with promo code FLOCK, because I worked my butt off for it, y'all are going to get an exclusive Josh Allen, more than less than half a passing yard week 1 against the Jets. And I got y'all 3 of those this year. So make sure y'all join with code FLOCK. That way you get to take advantage of all 3 plus whatever site-wide specials they have on top of that. Now, Hindo asking if we're going to go CMC or Chase in this style format. That style format, I'm probably going to go Chase there, my friend. I'm going to go Chase. Now, Tua goes 102. Tony off 103. And now, Richardson was definitely someone that we were looking at, obviously, with our decision to take Michael Pittman. Now, we're not going to sit here and cry about not getting Anthony Richardson on the way back around. Now, one thing that we can't do is we can't take tight end here, right? So it doesn't really matter what we think about the Pat Frymuth or David Njoku value. We'll go ahead and we will take Brian Robinson as our 4th running back. What's very encouraging about Brian Robinson is a running back that's actually getting involved as a pass catcher in the preseason, which is not something most people are expecting from this Robinson profile. Okay. Now, Ian Moorhead coming out says 10-team Superflex 1 keeper league. Quarterback, we have Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, Kyler Murray. You don't want, actually, Superflex, never mind. I'm an idiot. Running back, Pollard, Javonte, James Cook, Zeke, Jamal. Wide receiver, Jefferson, oh, this is a beautiful freaking team. Tyreek, Olave, Mike Williams, Tyden Hawkinson. Great team. The only interesting thing is Kyler Murray's not going to make an impact for you early on. You don't really know what you're going to get from Anthony Richardson later on either. I like the combo of Jamal Williams as well as Javonte Williams. I mean, just given the fact that if Javonte starts slow, you can still start Jamal Williams as a running back 1 through the first 3 weeks regardless. I love that team, my friend. What the hell am I supposed to do? I think we're actually going to reach on Jameson Williams. Let me sit here and think about this for just 1 second. Spam the chat, everybody. Do you want Jameson Williams or Juju Smith-Schuster? Everybody spam the chat. What do you want? We got 10 seconds, so the first one I see, we're going with. Darth says Juju. All right, we're going to go Juju. That was the first one I saw. Cousins doesn't make a lot of sense. We don't have any Vikings. Geno doesn't make a lot of sense. We don't have any Seahawks, and we can't take those guys later on. So we'll take Juju Smith-Schuster and hope that somehow, some way, he's better with Mac Jones than he was with Patrick Mahomes. Now, of course, don't ask me how that's going to happen. I don't know, but you never know. You never know. We still need a wide receiver, clearly, right? I mean, we only have Amari, Judy, and Juju Smith-Schuster. And Michael Pittman. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, Nate says, Eagles fan here, 10-team map PBR, 4th pick. We start 2 flex spots. Ideally, I want A.J. Brown pick 2, Jalen Hurts pick 3. Is that too early to draft Jalen? Oh, hell no, my man. If you want to go Jalen Hurts round 3, I'm taking Jalen Hurts there any day of the week. I mean, Jalen Hurts is my quarterback 1 in fantasy this year. Now, Saul coming out says, Bijan, Pollard, Taylor, Ridley, Watson, Godwin, Hawkinson, Deshaun Watson, Cooks, Quentin Johnson, Rasheed Rice, Zay Jones, A.J. Dillon, Elijah Mitchell, 0.2 PPR. So essentially a non-PPR format. I like the team. I do think that we're taking on a considerable amount of risk by taking Taylor and Ridley, but at the price point that you get them, I mean, it just makes so much freaking sense based off the upside of them being round 3 and round 4 picks. I love that freaking team, my man. That is a great squad. Nick says, in a 10-team map PBR format with only 1 flex, I have Jamar as a keeper in round 9. Should we slam running back with round 1 or go Diggs, etc.? And it obviously depends on where we are picking as well as what is going to be available to us based off keepers being taken out of the overall player pool. I would say in a vacuum, we probably want to be going running backs if we can early, if there are guys there that are intriguing, especially if you have Jamar Chase round 9, right? If you have Chase round 9, you kind of have to. Okay. Now, let's move this over. Penny off the board, 17. I've been taking a ton of Rashad Penny this year. Okay. Now, Nick says, oh, no, we already answered that one. Okay, I think we're all caught up on that. Thank God. All right. Jalen Warren off 118. Now, what we need to do is we need to send up a prayer here that a quarterback makes it back that we like. Now, one of the reasons I was considering Jameson Williams over Juju Smith-Schuster is to put ourselves in the position where we could take Jared Goff later on. Sadly, we are not in a position where we can be doing that. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Trent says, furthest he has seen David Njoku fall. I mean, yeah, if we were to go back and change this draft, right, maybe you can make an argument. Well, Mason, take Mike Evans over George Kittle, and then that way you could go David Njoku over Juju Smith-Schuster. So how would y'all have rather me done it? Would you rather go Kittle and Juju or Evans and Njoku? Obviously, hindsight 2020. But what would you have rather had? Would you have rather had Kittle and Juju or Evans and Njoku? Okay. Kittle, Juju. Kittle, Juju. Evans, Kittle, Kittle. Evans. It looks like most people are saying Mike Evans there. Yeah. Obviously, hindsight 2020, you never know that you are going to get, say, David Njoku making it down to pick 112, but still. Something we can maybe look to adjust later on. Damon says, in a 10-team league, Mahomes, JT, Dobbins, Tyreek Hill, Devonta Smith, Hawkinson, Watson. Should I trade Mahomes for Lawrence and Gibbs? P.S. My bench running backs are bad. Generally, no. I'd say at this time of the year, especially when we want to have the flexibility with what we can do with the waiver wire early on, I am just going to de facto say keep the best player in every trade. Like, there's no reason to make that deal until we get confirmation on what the situation is like with Jonathan Taylor and J.K. Dobbins. If we get some bad news regarding one of those players sometime soon, then maybe I change my mind. But at this point, no. Okay, so let's move this over. And ladies and gentlemen, we are officially 1 like away from hitting 100 likes on this stream. So if you have not done so already, please go down there, drop a like on this stream, and help us hit 1,000 likes. Be our 1,000th like of the live stream. Let me make sure I'm doing this on my phone so I could possibly be the 1,000th like. Okay. I'm pretty sure I was the 1,000th like, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to take that dub where we can get it. Joseph says 6-point touchdown. Happy BR format. When you target quarterback. I'd love to get an elite level quarterback in the 2-3 turn, my friend. 6-point passing touchdown. I would actually pivot over to Mahomes over Hurts. Here I am actually going to go with the quarterback that we don't have stacked up. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Aaron Rodgers, 129. I mean, I guess we can look at taking one of these gross New York Jet options later on. I mean, in reality, we're just going to go ahead and try to lock in some quarterback points here, even if we don't have the stack. Because the thing is, like, what's the opportunity cost of going Rodgers at 129? Williams says, 10 TPBR, do I go Hurts or Mahomes to pair with Kelsey? If you already have Kelsey, I would pivot over to Mahomes. I would. Now, Brian says, 12-team PPR flex spot. I get to keep one player from last year. Who would you pick? Pollard round 5, Garrett Wilson at round 12. We have the 10th pick of the draft. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go Garrett Wilson round 12. I mean, I'd rather have Wilson over Pollard straight up, my friend. Okay. Now, let's smooth this over. We got a hater creamy sauce out here. Of course, the haters are always an anonymous name with no YouTube profile pic. But my friend, I'm drafting every single night. This is a $500 draft. You are able to put your money where your mouth is. Come up into a draft with us. I mean, I'm sure you won't, but just in case you want to, promo code FLOCK, link in the live chat, link in the description, link in the comment section. With that promo code, you'll even get my fantasy football rankings, get a free trial of flockfantasy.com where you can find my draft guide and use it against me, my man. You're also going to get a 100% deposit match up to $200. Hell, and better yet, also, I'm going to get you set up. Even if you want to hate on us in the live stream, you can also take advantage of this Josh Allen more than less than half a passing guard, my friend. So, please, feel free to take us up on that. If you're willing to. I'm assuming you're not. I'm assuming, but we'll see. Now, Van Jefferson goes, I think we're actually going to pivot over and probably go Jamal Williams. God dang. Do we really want to take Jamal over Russ and essentially get ourselves at least one more quarterback? Okay, see everybody in the chat saying, let's ride. Let's go, Russ. Comeback season. All right, we will go ahead. We'll take Russell Wilson. We are still going to take 3 quarterbacks no matter what. We are going to go 3 quarterbacks no matter what. We have Russ stacked up with Judy. We can't take Greg Dulcich later on, obviously, given the fact that we already have Kittle and Goddard. But we do have the possibility of just possibly, and I mean just possibly, getting Marvin Mims on the way back around. But Too Rich says, how does Underdog work? I do have to set a lineup every week when I draft. No, you don't set a lineup when you draft. That's how we were able to draft so many freaking teams, my friend. There's no time commitment at all during the year, so your best starting lineup is automatically going to be submitted for you at the end of every single week. Also, no waiver wire. This is why it's going to be the best place to get in some extra fantasy football drafts and get some practice in for your main fantasy football league this next year. But you're not going to replace your main fantasy football league with Underdog, right? It's going to be some added in fun on the side. Okay. Now let's move this over. Brandon says 10-team 4-keeper league. I picks 1, 201, 301. Oh, very interesting. Trade up or stay put. A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, and leaving 2 keeper spots open. Can we not trade the 7th round picks for a couple of keepers? I would assume if there are only 40 players being kept in the league at most, that there are going to be some guys that are better than those round 7 options for you that you could just trade, like for Dobbins, who's not being kept, right? That would be plan A if I could, my friend. Plan B is, I mean, stick and pick and just take the best values. I mean, starting off Bijan Robinson, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, never going to be a bad thing. Okay. Roy Boy says, what do you think of Team 12, Bijan, Saquon, Allen, TJ, Jerry Watson? If you're saying you got Josh Allen round 3 in that 12-team format, love it. And this is why I'm saying in your regular redraft league, you want to give yourself the flexibility to take middle round wide receiver values, right? I mean, if you're getting Jerry Jeudy round 5, Christian Watson round 6, that's something that you want to be able to pull the trigger on and not feel like you have to pass. So, I don't know, my friend. I love it, and I more so just want to use it as an example of what other teams should be looking to do. Now, Canada says, I got the motherflogger tier, but don't know how to submit my Yahoo team for review. It's a 14-team non-PBR format. Thanks. Okay, no, I would much rather give you like an entire 8, 9, 10-minute podcast review than just say something for 5 seconds. So if you signed up to flockfantasy.com with promo code FLOCK and the motherflocker tier, please make sure you send me your fantasy football team through Discord. That way I'm able to make a personalized podcast breaking down your team and possible moves to make. So you can do that, my friend, by going and joining our Discord. Click the Discord link. You'll see the little icon at the very top of flockfantasy.com. It will automatically link your Discord account, which is a group messaging platform if you don't know, and your Flock Fantasy account. It will unlock the roster submissions tab for you in that Discord chat. And you can go ahead and just send your team directly to me, my friend, and I'll get you that podcast immediately. But thank you so much for being a longtime member of the Flock. I'd be super happy to check that team out and give you an entire podcast breaking it down. Now, Everett Cole Kmet off 147, 148. Okay. Year 2 tight end Tennessee off the board. So at this point, I mean, if we are looking for other guys that we can be bringing into this situation, I mean, Jordan Love would correlate with Aaron Jones, right? I don't know if we're taking Jordan Love, pick 153. I mean, we'd have some other options. We go Brock Purdy, pair him up with George Kittle, as much as it pains me to say that. So it's not like we have to take a quarterback here if we're going to be whiffing on them completely, but we'll continue to see what happens. We could also go with the pair of Carolina teammates here like Jonathan Mingo, Adam Thielen, or DJ Chark on the way back around, and then go Bryce Young later on. So we don't even get the ability to go with Jordan Love. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take KJ Osborne. Yeah, that team that went Jordan Love has no Packers, which is interesting. I guess they can look at Luke Musgrave a little later on. Okay. Osborne 153, and let's see what we have on the way back around. Generally, I would really like to grab either Alec Pierce, pair him up with Michael Pittman, or one of the Carolina wide receivers, just so we can set ourselves up with the potential Bryce Young selection a little later. Maybe make the argument just go ahead and pull the trigger on Brock Purdy to pair up with Kittle right now. Miller off 158. Okay. Dingus, what are you doing here, my friend? They go Purdy, so we don't get the option to take Purdy. They pair up Purdy with absolutely nobody. Interesting to see all the unstacked quarterbacks in this league. I guess we'll go ahead and we will take Adam Thielen. That way we can set ourselves up with a potential stack of Bryce Young a little later on in this draft because we still need to be taking another QB. So now at running back, we currently are sitting with Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley through the first 2 rounds. We took Aaron Jones round 5, Brian Robinson round 9, and wide receiver, we're sitting with Amari, Jerry Jeudy, Michael Pittman, Juju Smith-Schuster, KJ Osborne, Adam Thielen. Tight end, we have the combo of Kittle, Dallas Goedert. Quarterback, we have an unstacked Rodgers, where we're sadly going to have to probably look at like McCole Hardman later on. And we also have Russell Wilson paired up with Jerry Jeudy. Okay. Okay, now let's see. Brainzilla says 10-team full BBR redraft, 2 wide receivers, double flex. Who should we be targeting with pick 3? Pick 3, if Chase falls, I'm completely fine you taking Chase in a league where you have multiple flex spots. If not, I think you're going to be going CMC or Kelsey. I mean, obviously, we're assuming that Jefferson's off at least with one of the first 2 picks, but there's going to be the top 4 guys. As long as we stay in that wheelhouse thing, we're going to be fine, my friend. But Joshua says 12-team PPR keep 6 league. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex. We have Lawrence, Bijan, Chubb, Amon, Waddle, Garrett Wilson, Andrews. Bench is Gibbs, JSN, Kirk, Algier, Elijah Mitchell, Jalen Warren. I love the team. I love how we're optimizing the bottom end of the bench with running backs that would have extremely high ceilings if an injury were to occur in front of them, just because a bunch of wide receivers like Zay Jones really wouldn't move the needle for us in any scenario with a team that's that loaded at the top. So I really like that, my friend. I really do. Okay. And Roy says, thoughts on drafting Breece Hall, play or bench? So if you're looking at Breece Hall, I mean, I think this is a running back that still has an incredibly high ceiling for weeks 15, 16, 17. So I do like him in these underdog tournaments when we're trying to optimize there, right? However, if you're going to be looking at what you possibly have when it comes to Breece Hall this season, I'm sorry, at the very beginning of the season, I have no idea how I'm going to rank the guy. Like, I'm sorry, but what am I supposed to do in terms of ranking Breece Hall? Week 1. Can everybody please spam the chat? Are you starting Breece Hall week 1 before you see the split, before you see any information with that team? Simple yes or no question. Please let me know. Thank God we have some tight ends going off the board. No, yes. Yes, no. Yeah, so it looks like overwhelmingly people are saying no. I mean, obviously, it's week 1's not the end of the world, right? I mean, you could still easily go through and draft Breece Hall based off the upside that he has weeks 15, 16, 17, which is something I'm definitely doing in these underdog tournaments. But at the same time, we do at least need to point that out, right? Okay. Alec Pierce off 173. Would have been really nice to have Alec Pierce make it back around to us. So tight end not viable for us with this pick. Couple different thoughts of what we can do here. Hell, I may continue to go unstacked. We may take an unstacked Kyler. I'm actually fine having Kyler unstacked. Rodgers, not so much, just given the fact you're betting on passing volume with Rodgers, not necessarily any rushing spike weeks. You could have a top 5 week for Kyler Murray where none of his pass catchers go out there and provide top 5 finishes at the same time. Donovan Peoples-Jones off the board, definitely a possibility as well. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here are our options. Never mind, Sam Howell goes. I'm taking Kyler. We're going with an unstacked Kyler Murray, ladies and gentlemen. And honestly, I still like this team. I'm still fine with this build. Our other thought was going to be to take Curtis Samuel here, 177, and then on the way back around, look to take Sam Howell in round 16. But with Sam Howell off the board, we're not even guaranteed to get Bryce Young on the way back around. Let's go ahead. Let's just hop in. I mean, let's just get a quarterback that we are confident he can give us a top 5 finish in weeks 15, 16, 17, which is specifically what we are trying to optimize for in this draft. Okay, Samuel goes 179. Now we're in a spot where we are going to be taking 1 more running back and 2 more wide receivers. Okay. Now, moving this over, Robert says, 10-team league, we have Saquon, Chubb, Waddle, Ridley, Hawkinson, Herbert. Do I start Javonte or London in the flex in a full PPR? Honestly, week 1, I'd probably just go Drake London while we are waiting for some clarity on Javonte Williams' workload right at the beginning of the season. I mean, it's obviously extremely encouraging to see Javonte Williams playing in the preseason and seeing some type of work overall. But I mean, still, it's a running back coming off a completely destroyed knee. So I think you go Drake London, but maintain the flexibility that you have going forward, where if week 1, all of a sudden, I mean, say Javonte Williams sees a 60, 70% snap share, then you just slam Javonte week 2. But yeah, let me show off this team. Running back now, we have Eckler, Barkley, Brian Robinson, Aaron Jones, Devin Singletary. Wide receiver, we have Amari, Judy, Michael Pittman, Juju Smith-Schuster, KJ Osborne, Adam Thielen. Tight end, we have Kittle and Goddard. Quarterback, we have Rodgers, Russ, and Kyler Murray. I really like this team. I like this team. Okay. Let's move this down. Troutman off the board, 187. Misa says, I just joined a $100.12 player draft. Did Underdog just drop a new tournament, my friend? Did Underdog? I saw them teasing that we may get a new tournament today. Let me see. Yeah, Underdog's dropping a new tournament later today. At least that's the rumor on the street. I have no knowledge of what the hell it's going to be. Yeah, I don't see any announcements on their Twitter. Lasagna Lover says, I think they're saying it's redraft. I would be very surprised. If Underdog drops like a redraft tournament, I'd be shocked. Of course, by no means does that mean it's not going to happen, but I don't know. Uncle Andy says he heard it was super flex. He says not a tournament. Okay, not a tournament. So if it's not a tournament, you want to be going lighter wide receiver and be willing to take an extra quarterback, tight end, or running back, my friend. If it's just a private draft. Caleb says, Underdog just dropped the eliminator. Just dropped the... Okay, what the heck? Literally the second that we start talking about it, it's dropped. I don't see it. Just dropped. Get in. The eliminator. 50K to first. It's a... Oh, hell yes. Hell yes. Underdog drops Guillotine League. Let's get this going. Let's get this going, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we will go ahead and we will hop into that draft after this one. And that is so crazy that we were literally just talking about that. So we're going to take two wide receivers here, 201 and 208. I'll let y'all know who we end up getting, but I want to go ahead and I want to hop in one of these drafts. Okay, so what is this draft on Underdog here? This is so freaking exciting. The Eliminator. 17 weeks of advancements, one champion. Let's figure out what the hell this is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not entering right now, so don't enter thinking you're going to be in my draft. Okay. $50,000 for first, $20,000 for second. It's a $50 buy-in. Okay. Every week is a new tournament. Payouts begin around 8, so week 8. So, all rules. Do they have anything here? Okay, so. We'll be in a 12-person group. How do you get knocked out, though? Okay, so at the end of round 1, the top 10 performing entries in each group will advance to round 2. So, essentially, it's going to be the bottom 2 teams get bounced after week 1. And then around 2, the top 13 advanced to round 3, but it says it's a 12. I don't freaking know. Okay. We'll figure it out. I don't know. I don't even know the strategy of this, but we're going to get in here and we're going to figure this out together, ladies and gentlemen. I would imagine guys that are going to miss the beginning of the season, such as Kyler Murray, Jameson Williams, they are inherently less valuable in this kind of format. But if you don't know what a guillotine league is, that's a league where every week the bottom scoring teams in the league are kicked out, essentially. And it's the last team standing. That's what it is. So every week there will be teams getting knocked out of the tournament. Every week. Okay, it's 15 seats, round 2. Okay, so it sounds like about, at least for the early part of the season, 2 teams are bounced from every round. This is exciting. Ryan says 10 TPBR 1 flex. We have Fields, Henry, Saquon, Ridley, Judy, Hawkinson, Godwin, McLaurin, Pittman, Gibson on the bench. What are your thoughts? I really like the team, my man. I mean, if we could go through and like possibly package together like Michael Pittman, TJ Hawkinson for an elite level tight end, I would like that. But I mean, it's exciting. Okay, but let's get this going. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, in that other draft, we just went ahead and took Campbell and Woods. Now, Jay says 12-team PBR, Watson, Akers, Madison, Waddle, Monra, Jerry, Judy, Travis, Kelce. I mean, a running back seems a little sketchy. I think we'll probably be fine. Now, I don't exactly know what we need to be doing in this draft, ladies and gentlemen. I don't necessarily think we need to be optimizing for the highest ceiling possible each and every week. Instead, we probably should be optimizing just to make sure we have enough points to get by. I think Cooper Kupp's going to score a lot of points every week. So let's go ahead and let's take Cooper Kupp. It's going to be crazy. And of course, if y'all want to get into one of these drafts with us, regardless of if that's a guillotine league, regardless of if that's just a regular best ball draft for this next year, this is Underdog Fantasy. It's the same site where you see all the pick'ems in our videos. My favorite pick'ems right now are going to be Justin Fields for more than 167 passing yards, DJ Moore for more than 46 receiving yards, and Cortland Sutton for fewer than 59.5 receiving yards for week 1. But anyway, if you want to hop in one of those with us, you can use promo code FLOCK. Get on Underdog. They'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100 with promo code FLOCK. You also get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, I worked my butt off to get y'all it, but an exclusive Josh Allen pick'em line week 1 only for people who use promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you are taking advantage of that, ladies and gentlemen. But let's go. Let's go. Okay. Now, they want the knit coming out. Thank you, my friend. Says 12-team PBR, Lamar, Barkley, Montgomery, A.J. Brown, Amari, Kittle, Watson, Gibson. On the bench, we have Warren, Algier, Pirine, Myers in the year 2 tight end in Tennessee. I'm fine rostering 2 tight ends if Kittle's going to be our first guy. I mean, if it comes to Jacoby Myers, just this is someone I'm not super excited about rostering in just a regular redraft format, considering the fact that, I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to have a super high ceiling. Like, you're going to always be able to find someone that looks like Jacoby Myers off the waiver wire in that regular redraft league. But still, fine with it. Fine with it. Soren says, be careful of bye weeks. I mean, definitely in this kind of format, you can't take 2 quarterbacks on the same bye, right? Like, that's not something that you're going to be able to do. But at the same time, I don't necessarily think I'm going to have to worry about taking like a couple wide receivers on the same bye. I'm not going to be thinking bye weeks in the front of my mind, but it's probably a good call out that in this kind of league, you can't be taking tight ends or quarterbacks on the same bye. Okay, so Pollard goes 17. Olave 19. Mahomes goes, so we will take Jalen Waddle here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go Kupp, Waddle out the gate, lock in our wide receivers while we can. Derby says, is this best ball? Yes, this is a best ball, but a guillotine league at the same time. Okay. Okay. Ridley off the board, 24. Andrews, Higgins both go. So we want to stay flexible and we don't necessarily want to put ourselves in an overly compromising position. I think it's probably going to be a very important format to stay balanced in through this draft, right? Taylor goes, hell yeah, we're going to get Allen, y'all know I love taking Josh Allen round 3. I mean, really any of these elite level quarterbacks round 3, I'm all in on. So going Cup, Waddle, Allen out the gate is something I'm pumped about. Let's freaking do it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's freaking do it. I mean, I'm fine finding running back values later on. This is Underdog. We're definitely going to be able to find some running backs that we like later in this draft. Okay, Jacobs goes 31. Okay. Highlight asking if I think Chase at 1's a bad pick. I mean, based off what Jefferson did last year, being the best 23-year-old wide receiver in NFL history, yeah, I honestly don't think you can go Chase over Jefferson. I don't think you can get away with it. Primetime KG says, earlier the bye week, the worst pick, I guess. I don't necessarily think so. Like, I mean, the thing is inherently, like, it's not like scoring points week 1 is worth any more than scoring points in week 8. At least the initial way that I'm thinking about this. I could easily be proven wrong. I mean, 5 days from now, and I'm looking back and thinking my initial thought process on this strategy is completely backwards. I mean, but this is something that we've never had to think through before on Underdog. So let me go ahead and look at the details of this league a little bit more and try to just really think through this. Okay, end of round 3, 8 teams advance. End of round 4, 10 teams. Round 5, 7 teams. So as you get further on, more teams will be knocked out of each round. Looks like round 7 is a big week of people getting booted. 4 out of 11 teams will get booted in the round 7 round. Round 8, 2 out of 7. Round 9. Four out of 10. Actually, yeah, so I would say almost the opposite. I would say with how few teams will get booted out of this tournament based off a bracket-to-bracket stance, I don't necessarily think we need to be trying to optimize for the very few weeks at the beginning of the season. I'm not saying that you shouldn't think about it. Obviously, this isn't like a traditional Underdog tournament where you're really only trying to optimize for weeks 15, 16, 17. I think you have to have a very well-balanced team and a very well-balanced approach overall in this draft. As my initial thoughts, of course. I'll also say I think stacking is probably just going to be a little bit less advantageous in this league, and correlation will be overall as well. Because, I mean, if you think about it, the reason you're really wanting to stack in traditional Underdog best ball tournaments is you are trying to polarize your range of outcomes. You are trying to either be garbage or great, because only the great teams get paid, right? Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't stack, because obviously if you look at spike weeks and how that's going to play out through the course of the season, it's still going to be very important, but I'm just saying it's going to be a little bit less important to go through and create those massive stacks through this. TC says floor is much more important than this. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So honestly, like, I don't necessarily think just because we take Josh Allen, all of a sudden we have to take Gabe Davis round 6. I don't know. But Sean coming out says 10 TPBR, wide receiver Lamb, Diggs, Olave, running back Jones, Walker, James Cook, tight end Hawkinson, quarterback Watson. Any advice? I went against your balanced approach advice, and for that, I am sorry, my friend. I mean, I really like the team, how it worked out at the end. I mean, getting those running back values where you had them. I mean, obviously, a lot hinges on what we get with James Cook this next year, and if he takes that step forward. I would really just try to be optimizing that bench and rostering as many high upside running backs as we possibly can get. But yeah, I really like the team overall, my friend. Tay says, does this make stacking suboptimal? I don't think it makes it suboptimal by any means. I still probably am going to be looking to correlate and still probably look to stack in this kind of league. I just think that at the end of the day, it's going to be a little bit less important than it will be in a traditional Underdog draft, right? David says, cost in the stack matters. It always does. It always does. If anybody tells you it doesn't, they don't know what they're talking about. Seamus says, is Underdog going to be doing another low buy-in tournament? Yeah, I'd assume that they will. Of course, I could be wrong, but the assumption is probably I'd imagine they have multiple low buy-in tournaments before the season starts. Jack says, would you trade Bijan, Ridley, and Kenneth Walker for CMC, Kirk, Alexander, Madison? Walker to Madison, slight downgrade. Ridley to Kirk, pretty big downgrade. Bijan to CMC, slight upgrade. It's PBR, we already have Waddle. I'm going to keep Bijan Robinson, but Hook'em Horns, I'm very biased with this. I'm sure a lot of other people will tell you to just go ahead and try to get Christian McCaffrey there, my friend, because obviously CMC is the undoubted best value in that deal. But let's move this over. Yeah, Brandon Ayuk off 51. Herbert goes 52. Hawkinson generally is someone that I'm looking to try to grab in as many underdog drafts as I possibly can. But I'm actually going to take Kenneth Walker here with this style format. I'm going to be way more likely to want to draft 3 quarterbacks and or 3 tight ends. So yeah, we're going to grab a running back while we still can. And I'm going to be looking at 3 tight ends later on. But I'm going to live stream for a long time tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So let me go pee while I still can, because we're going to be here for a while. All right, we are back. Hawkinson does go 57. Yeah, so if y'all see me in a lot of these drafts, I am taking Hawkinson, I'm taking Kittle, I'm taking Goddard. I'm taking those tight ends that I believe can have those individual weeks where they go out there and they get you, 20 fantasy points at the position and giving us that significant edge over the rest of the field. Here, I'm just going to be a little bit less worried about that. Houseway says if Mason washes his hands, I'm leaving. Come on, man. Come on. I really think I'm 4 years old. I got to wash my hands. Once you turn 18 years old, we all know washing hands goes out the window. Brandon says, how do you pee that fast? Come on, man. Y'all just know. Y'all just know. Your boy's talented at everything. Think I'm just good at fantasy football drafts? No. Now, Sean says, go back and watch. Not happening, my friend. Now, Evans off the board 61. So, we have a super well-balanced start through the first 5 rounds, which, like I said, this is something I'm looking to accomplish in this style contest that I initially think through. I think this kind of league going heavy 0 RB or going like heavy row. I think either way, taking a hard stance one way or another may not be the way you want to go about this. I think you probably want to go through and try to have that balanced start. Okay, Cam says, not sure if you haven't seen it yet, but they just dropped the Eliminator contest that I recommended a few days ago. Hyped. Yes, sir. Not only did we see it, we are in it right now. We are in the new tournament on Underdog Fantasy. Could not be more excited about this. And of course, like I said, if y'all want to get in one of these drafts with us, we're doing it every single night on the live stream. Promo code FLOCK, 100% deposit match up to $200, plus our rankings, plus a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our draft guide, and also plus the pick'em lines and a Flock pick'em line exclusive. Josh Allen, more than less than half a passing yard. But let's go back and see this. McLaurin's big toe says, pick me next. No regrets. Not happening. Odier says, is it worth rostering Hunt and Fournette both on the bench? I think so, especially if it's just going to be like a regular redraft league where you can cut both guys by the time we get to the start of the season once they don't sign right. That's kind of the build that I'm looking to have with those regular redraft formats, are players that I'm willing to just go ahead and move on from if things don't work out. Now that Kittle does make it here, I will take George Kittle, pick 68. Like I said, I'm not going to be as excited about grabbing those tight ends with massive weeks in their range of outcomes here in these kind of drafts than I would be otherwise. But still, based off us going with Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker at running back so far, wide receiver, Kupp, Waddle, I think we are in a position where we can easily afford to go George Kittle 68. And like I said, I think stacking is going to be inherently a little bit less valuable in a format like this. So I don't necessarily know if we want to go ahead and push up Gabe Davis just for the hell of it by having Josh Allen. But yeah, we go Kittle 68. Okay. Javonte goes 72. This is honestly, in my mind, probably going to be the most This seems like a better idea for best ball than a regular best ball thing. Like initially, as I'm getting amped about this, like as I really sit here and think about this kind of tournament, does this not seem like the perfect way to play best ball? I don't know. Maybe I'm getting overly excited about it, but like, especially if you draft like say 100 teams or whatever, and you go, okay, I got 8 teams knocked out week 1, 4 teams knocked out week 2, and you just dwindle down to where you're only left with the teams that you really care about. I mean, we're going to go ahead. We are going to take Miles Sanders. I mean, although I really like Pitts and Goddard both in this round, but the thing is, whenever we are in this style of contest, I think we're going to be more likely to take a 3 tight end approach rather than a 2 tight end approach like we would in a regular best ball draft. So yeah, let's go Miles Sanders just because I think we get less of an advantage by only having to take 2 quarterbacks. Okay. Montgomery off 81. Dan says, just tuned in. What seems to be happening with JSN in these drafts tonight. Yeah, so just in case you don't know, JSN, don't know if he's going to need surgery on the wrist. This morning, Shefty told us that he would, but now reports saying that he may not. But it sounds like JSN's going to be missing 3 to 4 weeks. So he's going to miss the beginning of the year. And JSN has fallen in the majority of these drafts I've been in from like a early 5th round pick to more so, I mean, a middle 6th round pick. Here he goes, pick 60, which I just can't agree with the news, but okay. Rashad White off the board, 85. So we definitely want wide receivers making it back around to us, right? When we go Miles Sanders, pick 77. And the only wide receivers we have so far are Kupp and Waddle. But Eric coming out with a donation. Thank you so much, my man. Says, Mason, any suggestions? 1 flex, 10-team redraft format at the 5 spot where we have Kelsey, Bijan, Jalen Hurts is the literal perfect start. Perfect start in a 10-team league with only 1 flex. You're still getting that wide receiver value in the middle rounds. This is exactly why I say we want to exploit this kind of format. Go with the elite tight end. Go with the elite running back. Go with the elite quarterback. Exactly how you do. And you still get Higgins round 4, Amari round 5, Mike Williams round 6, Brandon Ayuk round 7. This is the perfect freaking team, my man. There is nothing I changed with that team. I wish I had more suggestions than that, but that is awesome. That is awesome. Now, Brandon Cooks off the board, 87. Swing this back around. Dallas Goedert falling still. I mean, we took Dallas Goedert round 8 last draft, and I was pumped about it. Like I said, we are maybe a little bit more inclined to go wide receiver here, considering the fact that we only have 2, though. And Dallas Goedert off the board, 89. I mean, hell, I would have taken Dallas Goedert in a heartbeat if he would have made it to us. I mean, Quentin Johnson goes 90. What's the report with Elijah Moore? Practices Sunday. Okay, cool. Cool story, bro. Dalvin goes. So we will go ahead and we'll grab our 3rd wide receiver here with Elijah Moore, pick 92. Especially with Dalvin off the board. I mean, if Dalvin's off, there's nobody else I'm really considering here. Tua doesn't do much for us. I still honestly kind of want to take 3 quarterbacks in this kind of league. But ladies and gentlemen, we are about 6 likes away from hitting 1,300 likes on this live stream. So if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the stream. Help us be our 13th other like on this live stream. Okay. We got Rashad Bateman, Sky Moore, Evan Ingram all off the board. Gibson, Dylan goes 96. So maybe we do go to a 101. Even if we want to maybe opt to go a little bit heavier with the floor of our quarterback / tight end. I mean, still we can go Tua, only draft 2 QBs with Josh Allen as well as Tua, and then go 3 tight ends later on with George Kittle as our number 1 option. Richardson off the board, 99. This team has Tyreek. Never mind. They probably go Tua, right? So yeah, ignore me what I was saying about Tua. No, they actually pass on Tua, giving us him here at 101 to pair up with Jalen Waddle. So we are not going to take another quarterback. I will say in the majority of these drafts, I probably am opting to go ahead and take 3 quarterbacks / 3 tight ends if we can. even though that's like the exact opposite of what I'm looking to do in like a regular underdog draft. But now quarterback, we have Allen and Tua. Wide receiver, we have Kupp, Waddle, Elijah Moore. Running back, we have Mixon, Kenneth Walker, Miles Sanders, and we have George Kittle at tight end. Now, Royer coming out says 10 team with the first pick, Jefferson, Mahomes, and Andrews in the third. I really like that, my man. Obviously, it's going to be dependent on what kind of running backs we can get later on at a value, but 10-team format, I don't think you have to be worried as much about getting boxed out. Now, Oliver says 8-team league, if I get Kelsey, Hurts, or Mahomes /reach. I think Kelsey round 1, and then honestly, if you have like Mahomes making it round 2, I will go Mahomes over Jalen Hurts, but I'll be fine with either of those quarterbacks at the 2-3 turn in an 8-team format. And even if I have Jalen Hurts ranked ahead of Patrick Mahomes in a vacuum, I would opt to go Mahomes over Hurts if I had Travis Kelsey. Okay. So we have Thomas, Tony, Burks all off the board here in the middle of round 9. We're wanting to see as many quarterbacks go as possible. That's the main thing that we want. Michael Thomas off board 105, Zach Charbonnet 106. Let's move this over. Yeah, that team goes Kincaid. Interesting to see the Dalton Kincaid selection. Honestly, I'd be a little less excited about Kincaid in this style contest. Like, the reason I think you're excited about Kincaid in like a regular underdog draft is when you're optimizing for weeks 15, 16, 17. I mean, at the end of the day, you can say that he has a pretty damn high ceiling for that stretch, but you don't really know when he's going to be fully implemented into this offense. It's not like week 15, 16, 17 has so much more inherent value than otherwise. Interesting spot. Houday says, I feel like bye weeks also really matter in this format. I'm not going to be as concerned about bye weeks. It would be otherwise. Like week 10, we do have Kupp, Waddle on the same bye. Week 7, we have Mixon, Miles Sanders on the same bye. Maybe we don't continue to take guys of that ilk. Maybe we use that as a tiebreaker, but I don't think it's the end of the world one way or another. Tyler Boyd goes 113 because you make an argument. If you make it past that bye week, then all of a sudden you're in a spot where you're just at like 100% strength for every other week. And Njoku goes 114. Love the price point on David Njoku, and honestly, probably wasn't wanting to take him knowing the fact that we were looking to go 3 tight ends here. Okay. Let's see what this team does. They go Penny. Hell yes. We're going to get Odell Beckham Jr. here. I think Jamison Williams is someone that I'm not interested in really at all in this style of contest. Just with him missing the first 6 weeks and giving us flat goose eggs there. But yeah, let's get this going. So now wide receiver, we have Kupp, Waddle, Elijah Moore, Odell. Quarterback, we have Allen, Tua. Running back, we have Mixon, Kenneth Walker, Miles Sanders. Tight end, we have George Kittle. Okay. Myers off the board. These teams here already have 4 RBs, so you assume that they probably don't continue to take running backs. Yeah, Bigsby off 121. Warren goes 122. Bigsby definitely would have been someone that we were looking to take. And I just pulled up my phone. We are 15 subscribers away from 170,000. Dear God, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for all the freaking support. 170,000 is just nuts. Okay, Samaje Perine off the board. McKinnon goes as well. I don't really know what direction we want to take this. Dear God. We'll go to Von A-Chain. Horrendous situation with the injury, and I don't really want to be in a spot where we feel like we have to take him. It's more so, who else would we be excited about in this range? Nobody. That's the answer. We have Tua. We have Waddle. I don't know. People in the chat saying Elijah Mitchell is better. I mean, yeah, y'all know I have way more Elijah Mitchell than Devon A-Chain, but maybe y'all are right. Maybe we should just go ahead and take our guy and just get Elijah Mitchell here. Yeah, I think y'all are right. That's a mistake on my part. We won't make that mistake again. But John coming out with the donation. Thank you, my friend. Okay. Trinidad asking for the 24-hour stream. Yeah, if we hit 200,000 subs, we will have that 24-hour live stream, my man. So, but that's assuming before the season starts. I'm not doing a 24-hour live stream during the season where I can't be in underdog drafts. If we had it before the season starts, I will go ahead and fire up 24 hours of underdog drafts yet again, ladies and gentlemen. Oliver says, most undervalued player in ESPN ADP rankings. Last I checked, I mean, you had Calvin Ridley going in like round 4, round 5 of ESPN drafts in comparison to round 2 in underdog contest. Y'all don't see me a lot taking Calvin Ridley on the live stream, right? Just because at the end of the day, I mean, with Ridley, round 2, I feel like, I don't want to say he's being priced at his ceiling, but I don't necessarily know if you're getting any risk baked into that price in the slightest. Whereas if you're going to get Ridley at that kind of cost in an ESPN draft, it just makes no sense. But I am just so freaking excited about this format, ladies and gentlemen. I think that this is maybe the most exciting tournament that's been dropped on Underdog all offseason. Like just the thought process on how you build your team, how you're going to be able to track your team through the course of the year, the sweat that you have. This is just so freaking fun. Jamison Williams still falling. Like we said, Jamison Williams has to fall in this style contest. The question is, how far does he fall, right? And if he makes it to us at 140, do we all of a sudden decide to pull the trigger on Jamison Williams? Odier says that 24-hour live stream last year was fire. Yes, and it did cost me to lose my voice a couple weeks after, but we still did live stream every single day last year, so we may or may not have live streamed with no voice, but well, we'll count it. Put me on the scoreboard. Okay. So let's move this over. Purdy goes 136. Great for us to see quarterbacks going. I'm not taking another quarterback in this draft, like we said. Jamison finally off the board to Saram at 138. Not going to fault anybody for taking a Jamison Williams now at this point. Ezekiel Elliott off 139. So we'll go ahead. We'll take Darnell Mooney, right? I mean, we need another wide receiver almost regardless. So we'll take him, pick 140. He's our wide receiver 5. We have Kupp, Waddle, Elijah, Odell, and now Darnell. I don't have a ton of Darnell Mooney this year, but now that he's been falling behind some of these other names, I think he is becoming a little bit more important. I don't want to say important, but I think he's becoming a little bit more viable at this cost. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's move this down. God, this is so freaking exciting. Avin says, where do we stand with Kamara and his 5.6 round price? I mean, honestly, not a big fan of Kamara around 5.6. I mean, he was one of my most drafted. I think he was my second most drafted running back earlier this offseason on Underdog when he was going past pick 100. If you have to take him with a 5.6 turn, I don't know how how excited we are about that, especially with the news that Miller's knee injury is healed now. Okay. Carr off the board 145. Russ still available. Russ at this point has fallen about 10 picks past ADP. Russ not in play for us. It's a little surprising to see nobody go Russ Mims on the turn. But like I said, I do think that overall correlation and stacks in this kind of format are just going to be worth a little bit less than they would be otherwise. Marquez Valdes-Scantling off the board 147. Gerald Everett 148. We don't have too many prototypes of players that won't give us production at the beginning of the season, so I will be fine going ahead and pulling the trigger on Marvin Mims here. 149. Obviously, Mims not interesting in the slightest at this price point with the healthy Tim Patrick, but with no Patrick, I think we are going to be fine with this. Now, Cam asking who our top 4 highest exposure players are. Let's go ahead and let's check this out, my friend. Okay. Goddard now has entered the number 1 spot. Lance down to the number 2 spot. We'll have some tears for that one. Hayden Hurst at 3 and Travis Etienne at 4. Followed up by Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, DJ Chark, Dalton Schultz. Okay. Smooth this over. So a couple quarterbacks going with Kyler as well as Russell Wilson. 151, 152. Love to see it. Love to see it. Okay. Roshan off 155. Let's swing this back around. Okay. Tight ends are definitely in play. We have Zamir White going here at pick 157, which is very interesting considering that Jacobs looks like he's going to be good to go. Miller off 159. Okay, at this point, what are we looking for? Willie asking how many rounds this format is. So it goes through the course of the entire season. So I believe 17, my friend. 17. Steve says 10-team BBR, Fields, Bijan, Akers, Higgins, Olave, Amari, Andrews. How are the starters? I really like it. I like having the quarterback with a lot of upside as well as the tight end with a lot of upside in a 10-team format in particular. I think it's a very well-balanced format. It's just so crazy that in that 10-team league, you're able to get that wide receiver mid-round value. Now, Tajay Spears off the board 160. Interesting to see the Kyler Murray team pass on Rondale Moore. Actually, no, this is the Kyler Murray team. They get Rondale Moore on the way back around 161. Okay. Piggott off 162. So we will go ahead and we'll pull the trigger on a tight end here like we were mentioning previously. We are wanting to be in a spot where we most likely take 3 tight ends in this style contest. And was there a report regarding Devin Singletary today, ladies and gentlemen? Because this is now a few drafts where we have seen Devin Singletary fall a considerable amount. Stafford off the board 165. Tomsky says, should I trade Dalvin to the Breece Hall owner? I was thinking of trading for DeAndre Swift since I have Jalen Hurts. My other running backs are JT Montgomery, Tank Bixby. I mean, if you really want to, I think that it is kind of a tiebreaker. I'd rather wait almost until the beginning of the season because if Dalvin Cook has that extremely large role week 1, even if we expect him to fade out in favor of Breece Hall later on in the year, you'll still probably get a sell high moment when it comes to Dalvin. At least that would be my assumption, my friend. Heavy Hitter says 12-team 1 flex league at PBR. Should I go Kelsey in the 5th? And in a 1 flex league, yeah, let's go ahead and let's send it, my man. Okay. But Saram coming out asking how the team is. Let's go ahead. Let's check that out right after we make our selection here, my friend. I know who we want. I know people are probably going to laugh at us for it, but it is what it is. Reed goes 171. Singletary off the board. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take Greg Dulcich. I mean, this is a tight end that, yeah, the preseason usage is extremely concerning. Now round 15, definitely a much better price tag. We are getting him as a third option. We already made the bet on Marvin Mims, so it can work out for us a couple different ways. But let's go ahead and let's check out Saram's team. Saram's in here at pick 7. He went Eckler, Olave, Jacobs, Etienne through the first 4. Followed up with Kirk, Pickens, Kyle Pitts, 79. It would have been really interesting if you would have had Goddard making it back around you at 90. Like the Quentin Johnson value. I mean, Quentin Johnson just looks like so much of a better pick now than he was previously. Treylon Burks, David Njoku at a strong value as well. Elijah Mitchell, Jameson, Russ, Pickett. I'd say you definitely at minimum want to be going with 3 quarterbacks here. Possibly even mix in a third tight end. I mean, I wouldn't mix in a third tight end if you go Pitts and Njoku in like a regular underdog draft, but maybe in this one, it's viable. I don't know. But let's move this over. Sam says, when I sign up with your code, should I get the Josh Allen promo right away? No. So how it works is this Underdog Pick'em is only going to be available for people who use promo code FLOCK. So they're going to manually run this Sunday morning of NFL kickoff. It's going to be September 10th at 11 a.m. Eastern. This is going to be the Monday night game, so you should have more than enough time to use it. But they're going to manually run it for everybody who has signed up until that point to Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK, and it will show up in your app then, my friend. But yeah, thank you so much. And of course, if you haven't already, if you want to take advantage of that one or any of the special pick'ems that I'm going to get y'all this season, you can find the link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK is going to give you a 100% deposit match up to $200. These are best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during the year. So I drafted 700 teams, won $150,000 on Underdog last year, ladies and gentlemen. Promo code FLOCK. You are also going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com, where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. But Fergal says, I saw you said Lil Uzi was your favorite artist of all time. I'm going to need your top 3 to 5 artists over any genre. Okay, so can I go right now, not of all time? Okay, let me pull up my phone and get some names for you. Lil Uzi is embarrassingly high for me. I'd honestly probably, if I'm going to be honest with you, I'll probably put him at 1. Who else are we going to go with? Y'all are going to make fun of me for this one too. Miley Cyrus, pretty damn high for me. Go some order. Miley Cyrus, Morgan Wallen, Lil Uzi, Kanye. I'm trying to find round 5. Back in the day, I used to love working out to Meek Mill. I don't like Meek Mill as much anymore. That's why it's always so dependent on like the time period that you would ask me that question. Back in the day, I'd put Drake there. I love Childish Gambino for a minute. Yeah, a couple different guys. But Henry off, so we don't want to go tight end. Good for us. And now, looking at this, we probably want to pivot to a running back here. We're to go ahead. We will take Chuba Hubbard. I mean, we have Miles Sanders. I actually think handcuffing may be a little bit better in this style tournament than it would be in a regular Underdog tournament. Peter says, bro, going to say T Swift next. You better believe it. Come on. I'm joking. Definitely Miley Cyrus over T Swift. Kidding me? Kidding me? Okay. And everybody, spam the chat. Who is your favorite artist of all time? I know everybody's going to say Mason. It's Mason Dodd. It's Flock Fantasy. We're not going to count me on this one, okay? I know I'm probably the best person with the microphone on this planet, but excluding Mason Dodd, who's your favorite artist of all time? Yachty. I don't like Yachty anymore. Moneybag. Yeet, Travis Scott. I never got into Travis Scott much. Kanye, Billy Strings. I actually like Billy Strings too. There are a lot of country people that I really like. I just don't know if I'd put them top 5. Travis, Kanye, Yeezy, Sublime, Uzi, easily. I mean, come on. I've said this before, but I can list off so many guys that I've had massive phases for. Like, I was a super big J. Cole guy for like 6 months in high school. I was like a big Post Malone guy in high school as well. I had a big Kanye phase. I had a big Drake phase. I had big phases of so many different people. But the one person that has remained through it all has been Lil Uzi. I can work out to Lil Uzi any day, anywhere, any album. Doesn't matter. David says Justin Bieber. I know you're probably joking, but Bieber has some hits. I actually do really like Pearl Jam as well. But Fergal says, pretty solid list. Hannah Montana over Miley Cyrus, though. I don't know about that one. And I know y'all probably think I'm joking when I say Miley Cyrus top tier, but no, I'm not joking. Just make sure we're straight. We'll go ahead and we'll take Shaheed. I mean, I know we need another wide receiver. I don't necessarily know if I love Shaheed here, but we will take him. I'm going to take a 6th running back as well with this style of draft. We will. Peter says, is today the day Deuce Vaughn goes? Deuce Vaughn goes in like every single one of these drafts. I may not be taking him, but he goes. Jason coming out says, 12-team PPR format. I have Diggs, Saquon, Waddle, Smith, Kamara, Hawkinson, Herbert, Montgomery, Tua, Geno. Was taking Kamara worth it? Round 5. I love the rest of the team. I just don't know if I love Kamara round 5, right? Because I don't know exactly what the red zone role is. And I mean, you have the receiving down volume, which is why I love taking the shot on Kyler Murray past pick 100 earlier this offseason. But it's all about the opportunity cost of that pick, right? Okay. TKL says you have 2 running backs week 7 and one is Chuba Hubbard. My friend, that's the exact opposite of the case. We have 3 running backs on bye week 7, or we have 2 running backs in Kenneth Walker, Devon Achane. And we're about to get a 3rd running back here, my friend. If you just be a little bit patient with us. Come on. Be a little patient with me. Okay. Universal says also Luke Combs over Morgan Wallen. I don't know. I know Morgan Wallen's like the most basic country person on the planet, but I freaking love Morgan Wallen. Okay. Adam Troutman off 210. Yeah, this team already has 7 RBs, so I think we assume that they don't go with another running back here. So we are going to get Leonard Fournette, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, hopefully he finds himself a spot. Maybe, maybe not, but this is a $50 buy-in, $50,000 first place prize. We're shooting for the highest ceiling possible, ladies and gentlemen. I freaking am so excited to be getting into more of these drafts going forward. So, of course, make sure you're subscribed. We are doing this every single freaking night on this live stream. And I believe, let me check, we just hit 170,000 subs on the channel. So thank you so much, everybody, for your support. I genuinely really do appreciate it. But yeah, thank you so much for everything. I'll be live tomorrow, the day after. If you want to get in one of these drafts with us, you can find that link to Underdog in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK will match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com, where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide, as well as take advantage of the special Josh Allen prop, only available to people who use promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy. You're going to get multiple of those for y'all soon. And I actually have some free time because the girlfriend's not here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang out at my computer for the next 20, 30 minutes answering every single question that y'all have. So after we end this, please go to the comment section, ask me any fantasy football question that you have, and I'll be super happy to go ahead and answer that for you, my friends. But thank you. Really appreciate y'all, and really hope I get to see you out with the live stream tomorrow night.